Hurricane.
We can hear you, Si. Hey.
Yeah, I might need to mute everybody.
Yeah, please do.
Now, here we go.
And so we are live. Hello and welcome. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are around the world. A very special day, a very special show tonight. I am delighted, I'm most grateful and honored to welcome you to what we have called a tribute to our dear friend, our dear brother, Carl. I'm a bit moved today, and if I struggle with words, then I do apologize, but I'm just very happy that today we can all cherish, we can celebrate the cigar community, and we can all come together and without an agenda, without pre-drafted questions, particular special guests from the industry or talking about certain blends, factories, and this and that. Today is all about you, it's all about us. It's about us coming together, enjoying the wonderful and magical product that is handmade premium cigars, and the unique quality of people that this particular product seems to attract. And so I'm truly, truly honored and happy to welcome three special guests for today that will lead the conversation here today. They're founding members of the Cigar Fanatics community and Zoom Cigar Bar, fellows and friends of Carl Moospau, who is a dear fellow friend and brother to so many of us. And without further ado, Kendall, April, and Tommy, welcome to the Light 'em Up Lounge. Welcome to this very special celebration of a wonderful man and his legacy, of the dream that he has built, and of the cigar community that we all are grateful to be a part of. Welcome, and thanks for being here with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
At the beginning, I would love to let all of you know, if you're joining us for the first time here at the Light 'em Up Lounge, it's a very casual get together, and we would love to hear your opinion. We would love to hear your questions. So please make yourselves heard by either raising the hand here in Zoom, or you can put your questions into the comments so we can bring you in. If you're watching over on Facebook, then please put your thoughts into the comments underneath the live stream. We're always watching, we're always following them, and I'll try to bring as many of your questions and considerations to the live conversation here. But for now, let's start. Kendall, I would love to hear your thoughts and your perspectives. First, if you, April, and Tommy would love to introduce yourselves briefly to our audience, then I'd greatly appreciate it. And then please tell us a little bit of how you got to know Carl and how you all got together in the early days of his dream and his legacy, the Cigar Fanatics community.
Hello, my name is Kendall Stevens, and I am from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So happy Mardi Gras from Louisiana. And it's great and an honor to be here and to talk about a really great friend, and to talk about the cigar community and cigar family, which was his vision, and how we are carrying it forward.
I'm April Wright, otherwise known as the group as the Duchess. I live in Oakland, California, and I came about knowing Carl through a friend who told me about the lounge, and it's history from there and much more to be made. And yeah, so greetings from Oakland, California, and thank you for having us on.
Hi, my name is Tommy LaFrance. I currently live in Parkersburg, West Virginia. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Carl at, well, my job. Uh, he was a customer and he was in our lounge, and all my people at work were like, "You like cigars? This dude likes cigars. You got to meet him." And one thing led to another, and we became dear friends. So happy to be here.
Kendall, well, in the early days, Carl was he was a true innovator, and he was leading the path during the early days of the pandemic. He started one of the very first, if not the first, virtual cigar lounge with the Zoom Cigar Bar. How was that back then? I mean, when you had those early conversations with Carl about his vision, what he wanted to build, and when you joined those first sessions, what was the mood like? What was the feeling like? And how do you feel that the community spirit has evolved into what it is today?
Well, when we had, of course, when we first started, it was early on in the pandemic. So early on in the pandemic, you know, I was used to getting off of work and going by my local lounge and relaxing, and all of that was closed. Nothing was left that was open. Everybody was stuck sitting at home. So during the early days of the pandemic, I went online and I started searching for, you know, online lounges, online bars, just to see if I could meet some new people and then just not be stuck at home alone by myself, twiddling my thumbs. And I stumbled across the Zoom Cigar Bar, and I met Carl sitting there, and Carl and I became fast friends. He actually introduced me to premium cigars. I had smoked cigars before, but never to the extent that I've been introduced to. He really was a cigar mentor to me. His vision was social distancing without social disconnecting. He wanted all of us to be able to have a place to be able to get together, to be able to still enjoy each other. And it really is worldwide. We have members that have joined Cigar Fanatics, which is an online group, and have joined Zoom Cigar Bar, which is an online, always on 24/7 virtual lounge. So just like, you know, most of you may be at home or you may be sitting in a lounge right now, there is an online 24/7 online virtual lounge called the Zoom Cigar Bar. People log in during the day. We have about 60 in and outs. When we first began, there was 3 or 4 of us that were sitting there chit-chatting and watching the world as it was changing. And it evolved from there to where we had just a few dozen in Cigar Fanatics, and we had, you know, 4 or 5 of us that would join nightly on the Zoom Cigar Bar, to where now we have over 21,000 members in Cigar Fanatics. And then we have nightly, usually anywhere from 15 to 25 every evening in the Zoom Cigar Bar. When we log in the afternoon for our lunch break smokes, we normally have anywhere from, you know, sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 15, you know, of people that just log in the middle of the day when they get a break and want to be able to have a cigar together with friends. We welcome everyone. It doesn't matter your religion, your background, nothing matters. Everybody's welcome. Carl wanted us to be a place to be able to share and inspire each other and to learn about different cigars. I've learned so many different cigars. You know, we teach each other, you know, how to season our new humidors when they come in, about different cigar deals that we found online. It really has become a brotherhood. We have all laughed together. We have cried together. You know, and unfortunately, Carl passed away in August of this past year. He had angiosarcoma cancer, but he would be very proud to let you all know that the type of cancer that he had did not cause his death. It was, well, it wasn't caused by cigar smoking. It definitely was a different type of cancer. Didn't have anything to do with lungs. It didn't have anything to do with his love of cigars. And unfortunately, we lost him. A lot of us attended his funeral and paid honor to the man. And we're very blessed and very proud to be able to carry this forward and to keep Carl's legacy going and to still be part of an amazing cigar family that he has created.
Beautiful. April, what were your first experiences with Carl, and how do you feel that this community has evolved over the years?
Well, the funny thing is, my first experience with Carl, I had a sorority sister who I saw her Instagram post that she was smoking a cigar, and I was unaware that she smoked. So I sent her a message. I'm like, you smoke cigars? And we had a conversation back and forth. And she said, yeah, I do. Hey, you should jump on this lounge my husband, your brother found. I'm like, what lounge? All the lounges being in California and every place else were closed. So they sent me the link, and that night we jumped on, my husband and myself, because we both smoked together. And the minute we jumped on, it was like, wow, there's a lot of people here, and we're not alone anymore. Because my husband and I would just smoke in our backyard and just, try and kill the time and take our mind off of the changing things that were going on in the world. As we all know, from here to across the pond, as we say, it was changing rapidly. We had no clue what was going on, but we had cigars to keep us sane. And then from there, just gaining a whole community, a whole family. Like Kendall said, they know my children. They watched me graduate in May. We shared happy times and good times. So it was just a blessing that Carl took an idea that he didn't really think much of. He just like, I didn't expect it, but I had talked to him before he passed one time, and he just said, April, I just never thought it would grow this big. I'm like, well, it did. It did. And you brought a lot of amazing people together. We act a little special at times, but that's what families do. No family is perfect, but we have our moments where we uplift each other. We have our moments where we act silly, we tell jokes, we have our serious talks and everything. But at the end of the day, we're able to come together like nothing ever happened. And we just keep the party going, and we just keep each other motivated. Being that I wasn't a cigar smoker at first, because I didn't like cigars, believe it or not, I had to get educated about it. And that was one thing that Carl helped me with, was to understand the beauty of smoking cigars and then the community that comes along with it. So I'm smoking the very first premium cigar he introduced me to, which is a Perdomo Champagne 10th anniversary. And yeah, so that's pretty much my intro to Cigar Fanatics and the Zoom Cigar Lounge.
Beautiful. Tommy, it's fascinating how during those past 2 years that were so challenging for many of us. Everything that happened during the pandemic that challenged us in our personal lives, in our professional lives. Yet it also gave us an opportunity to discover something new, to rediscover the camaraderie and the community, in particular in the cigar world, through the means of online and Zooms and virtual HERFs and all that. When you reflect on all that, how do you feel about that ambiguity in those past 2 years, and the positives and the negatives, where it was so challenging for many, but ultimately here we are, and we celebrate the legacy of an outstanding gentleman, and we celebrate life, and we celebrate cigars, and that we all come together and share something that we truly love. And through the humble means of a cigar, we discover people that share the same passion, that share the same values.
Yeah, I remember when I would go and like hang out with Carl. Like he lived not too far from where I worked, so I'd clock out and I'd go over there, and we'd go to our local cigar lounge and all that. I mean, we would talk about help, building the Cigar Fanatics, and we really never knew that it would. We would sit on the front porch and talk about how it would be like maybe like 100 people. We didn't. We're truly blessed. Like I've met so many great people, and I'm honored to have a lot of them here. And it really does warm my heart that we've grown to over 20,000 people worldwide, and we're educating people. We're helping people find, whether it be how to. One of the biggest questions is like, hey, I would say, how to season a humidor. I learned a lot of things and what not to do, and what to do, and we've met people all over the world. I mean, I got a dear friend in here right now who hold dear to my heart, and that's Cy Sweeney. He's in Ireland. He just sent me a video this morning, and I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little bit. I was like, you the man, Cy. And we got April, I hold her dear to my heart. Kendall and Art, and I'm sure I miss them. There's Patrick, and we have a community. We have a family now, and we can coordinate and do so much. And we owe it all to Carl. Like I remember the last time I was able to talk to him. He was in the rehab center and trying to get better, and I was like, Carl, is kind of almost like what April was saying. It's like, buddy, you did it. Like it wasn't your intention to grow something to this magnitude, but Carl, buddy, you did it. Like this is awesome. Like this is your legacy. So we try to do everything we can to make sure we're pushing forward in a positive manner, and have great laughs while we're doing it. I mean, there's been times where we've been on our Zoom chat, we're laughing so hard we're in tears. Or whether it be playing a prank on a dear friend, or sending them cigars. Like we send cigars to our community left and right, and it really, I'm truly blessed to be here, be a part of it. It really does. I take pride in that.
Kendall, what's so special about this is, and Tommy just mentioned it, that Carl has built this outstanding community, and Cigar Fanatics is his legacy, but he built it without the intention of creating a Facebook group with 20,000 people, pushing advertisement, making money out of it, or like no other intention other than bringing people together. And this, I believe, is truly special, and it shows yet again that with the right intent at heart, you can truly build something. And for me, I'm a hopeless dreamer and the most positive person. That's also why we built Light 'em Up, with a similar concept, a similar idea, roughly at the same time. And I'm also so grateful for everything that we have experienced here together, in a slightly different format. Carl was a dear fellow, a dear friend. He was often with us here at the Light 'em Up Lounge, and vice versa. But Kendall, do you think that it is that caring gesture and that caring nature of, I would call it hospitality, right? Doing something without expecting anything in return, a humble and serving act that made it so different and made it so successful?
Yes. And I think it is, it's very unique because it was just kind of a little grassroots movement, just as a way to be able to bring people together during the pandemic and to be able to still enjoy fellowship and a good chat and a good cigar. Carl, he never wanted it to make a profit. He never wanted it to be anything other than about the members. So this, this show today, it isn't about me. It isn't about Tommy. It isn't about April. It's about all of our members that are on here. We have quite a few in the audience. It is about everybody else, and it's about how we bring everybody else together for the love of the leaf, to fellowship, to spend some time together, and we're going to continue to carry that forward. But it is a very unique group, and it's a very unique experience that it grew from something so small to something so large, and then we and speaking of fellowship, we even started a online Zoom Bible study, to where instead of sitting in church thinking about your cigar, you can actually sit in church and smoke a cigar and do Bible study online. And we have a few members that do online Bible study. We also we have different things that we do online. Here, not too long ago, on February 1st, we nicknamed that Founders Day, because that's the day that Cigar Fanatics started. We all got together, and we've done this 3 times so far, but I unbanded 42 cigars, and everybody received, all of our regulars in Zoom Cigar Bar received an unbanded cigar, and we all met online. And we celebrated Carl's life and Carl's legacy, and we all guessed the cigar, the country of origin, the wrapper, the fillings, and it was just a great time for us to come together during Christmas, because most of us are stateside. We all mailed each other gifts, and so it was a secret Santa gift. Nobody knew what they were receiving, and then we all got together online and opened our gifts together. And it's just a very unique group. It's a unique experience, and nobody does this as a full-time job. This is always supposed to remain fun. This is always supposed to remain a family. And that's what he started, and he wanted us to continue that way.
What's so interesting is that even though the cigar community feels prone to something like this, where we all come together through the means of online and virtual, and we can share, and we can exchange ideas and stories. It was really through the pandemic that these programs came to life and came about. So I feel like in many ways, the COVID pandemic has been an accelerator for many different dynamics, but even though it has been a burden so often, it's been a blessing in certain regards, like bringing the cigar community closer together. April, why do you think that, particularly through the last 2 years, these virtual platforms and these communities have become so much stronger, so much more meaningful and impactful?
Well, we're definitely grateful for them, because it can connect you from here to there, from the United States to the UK, from California to Florida, from New York to Texas. The virtual platforms are able to connect people that otherwise couldn't get to certain places. Like, I'm in California and Tommy's in Ohio. I just can't get in the car and drive down there to see him, or Kendall's in Louisiana. I could hop on a flight, but then there's a cost. So the virtual platform definitely is a connecting device. It connects people from all walks of life, all cultures, all places, to where we can all get together. And the pandemic, COVID, definitely gave it a boost, because we were limited. Some of us couldn't leave our countries, some of us couldn't leave our counties. And where we could go, it was just maybe to the grocery store and back. We weren't able to interact with our friends and our family like we normally do on a daily basis. So definitely through Zoom, through all other platforms, it definitely connected us. And still, even afterwards, we're supposed to be in an endemic now, as they say, we're still going to stay connected. And I see the Zoom and the virtual platforms still excelling, because some people, I wish I could get to the UK right now. I wish I could get to Florida. I wish I could get to Ohio, but I can't get there. One, because I also have a job, but traveling, I don't have that traveling freedom that I wish I could have, but I can log in and connect with anybody from anywhere. And it's just amazing. So I see them staying around. I see the virtual platforms staying here for a pretty long time.
I mean, how do you feel that the virtual experience is different though than the analog one? I mean, we all love to get together, sit around the table, have a cigar, hug each other, and but then the virtual, as April rightfully said, it's definitely here to stay, and it's a different way of connecting. Um, how does that feel for you, and how do you live and celebrate that at the Zoom Cigar Bar and with the Cigar Fanatics group?
Well, I totally understand, and I also appreciate what April just said. It's like, yeah, we can go meet up, and then you turn right around, and you got flights. A flight could get canceled. Somebody in your immediate area could, heaven forbid, get COVID. But if we're right here, I mean, yes, I am definitely one to want to be in an actual lounge, but I've got an air purifier. I got plenty of cigars. I can contact somebody and be like, hey, where's the best deal on this? Great. They ship. Fantastic. We got all of that benefit now. But I am kind of curious to see where this goes in the future. But yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with everybody. I think this Zoom Cigar Bar is here to stay for many more moons, and I'm just I'm just excited to be here. I'm just tickled to death, but it was nice because we've had people that they're in such a big rush. We've had several members that will just hop on the Zoom chat while they're driving. Not that we like encourage texting and driving or anything, but they just kind of have the camera off and they're muted and they're just listening in, or they unmute and say something, and it is really cool. Yeah.
Beautiful. Kendall, I really appreciate that you mentioned earlier. Carl was an important part of you being introduced to premium cigars at all, which is, I believe, even more meaningful now. But since it's such a recent discovery and phenomenon for you as well, why do you think that the cigar community has such a unique and particular quality of people within, and why do you think that the lovers of the leaf are so unique and special in how they interact, how they come together, how they respect each other, treat each other, and just share these precious moments, all connected through the humble cigar?
When I first got on the Zoom Cigar Bar and met Carl, I was not smoking premium cigars, but I was smoking a cigar. And Carl was very disappointed in what I was smoking. And he sent me a COVID relief package. So he sent me some different cigars from different manufacturers, different brands, so that way I could try and learn my palate. And he discussed with me about the palate and about learning and growing with cigars. And he continued to do COVID relief packages for other members as they joined. So we continue to carry that on as well. And we do cigar bombs to different members within our group. We've seen weddings, we've had some heartbreaking situations where we've mailed people cigars. We've had birthdays where we've mailed each other cigars. So we continue to spread the love of the leaf, and then also to spread the wealth of knowledge of the different brands and the different manufacturers. And by doing little things like the blind smoke, we also help with our palates, to refine our palates. And it's a very unique group. It's a very unique experience. And we really do enjoy each other and enjoy each other's company. And I do see, the virtual platform and things staying forward. Carl always wanted it to be just a lounge, so anybody can join, and then you're not going to be interviewed no matter who you are. You know, it's going to be, you know, just like you going into your local lounge and ordering a drink and having a cigar and sitting down at the bar. That's how he wanted it to be. You know, I mean, yes, we've had Reinhard pop into the Zoom Cigar Bar. We've had the Fuentes stop into the Zoom Cigar Bar. We've had Nick and Janine. We've had many people stop into the Zoom Cigar Bar, but we don't talk about, I mean, if we want to bring up the industry and ask a couple questions, we do, but we don't talk about that. We talk about how was your day at work? You know, we talk about our hobbies, you know, we talk about our dreams, we talk about our passions, you know, we talk about our day at work, and we vent, you know, about whatever might be on your mind that day. You know, we talk about current events. It's just, it's a beautiful, beautiful place to come together, and then to always feel welcome, and then to always to feel like that you're not in the spotlight, you're not going to be interviewed, and you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy each other's company.
April, I wanted to ask you about your perspective as to why do you think that the cigar has this magical and mythical power to unite people, bring us all together, and connect such an incredible talent and quality of people?
You're definitely right. It is a unique, it's a unique item. It's a unique being. Sometimes I just think it's so unreal. It can bring together a conversation like none other. It can really connect people in a way that I'm still learning myself. It's just, it's a conversation starter. I'm like Kendall. I wasn't, like I said before, I wasn't smoking cigars. I didn't like cigars at first because I just connected them with cigarettes. And once I got educated and realized they're two different, totally different, way different from one another, I began to get interested and enjoy it, and then expand my palette and research the brands. And there's so many out there. The cigar is also a peacemaker to me. You can have a bad day, rough time, or you just want to take a time out. You just start smoking a cigar and it just makes everything all good. And it's something to definitely fall in love with, especially with shopping. That's one thing Carl introduced me to. He made me a cigar bid aficionado, I'll say. I learned how to bid like none other, not thanks to Carl. But sorry, I've been tearing up the whole time. I'm trying to hold it. He helped me to realize that cigars are definitely a connector and a way, I won't say a way out, but it's just, it can take your mind off of things and just, you know, bring you closer to people. And like I said, just start a conversation. It can do a lot of things, but the uniqueness of it is just, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable.
Tommy?
Yeah, I would say that learning about, you know, something that has helped me out a lot too is I'm trying to figure out how I remember one time I wanted to learn how they even roll a cigar. So we actually had one of our buddies that owns a cigar company. He zoomed one of his rollers, I think it was like in the Dominican Republic. They set this whole thing up and they gave us like a tour on really how it's done. And it was really cool. I learned, you know, that sounds crazy, but I learned how to properly light a cigar because through the good old Zoom Cigar Bar. Because I'm here to tell you, I looked like I was roasting the bottom of that thing in a campfire. I was not doing it properly, and at the time I'd been smoking for a hot minute. And you learn something new every day. And yeah, and I also remember we would have the old cigar bed. We'd have cigar bid evenings, or there's like a Tuesday or something, and we'd be like, all right, don't you bid on that, I'm going to bid. And then we'd catch somebody in the group going, you know, trying to jump in and snipe our deal. And we'd be like, I don't know, we would just have fun with it, and it was good. It was a good time.
I do want to mention to that we have a couple in the group that they would go and be the last minute on a bid, and Carl would outbid them, and Carl would mail the cigars to who he outbid.
Yeah, he would do that. Or you would see phones up and everybody's doing this. You know, we're on cigar bid.
Well, I think
We're doing something.
one thing in general that that truly struck me now during our conversation as well is what we can share and embrace here today, and what Carl's vision and dream and the Zoom Cigar Bar has always been about is us. It's the people, and first and foremost, we're all consumers. We're all cigar people. We all love handmade premium cigars, and I'm so grateful that there's cigar media out there, that we have fantastic print magazines, that there's incredible online publications, brilliant shows like the Meet the Professor, like Coop when he's doing his shows, or Cigar Dojo that we had last week as our guests. These are all fantastic platforms, and they give us an opportunity to meet the people behind the product, get close to the manufacturers, almost feel like we can stick our hands and our fingers into the dirt and into the soil and get closer to the cigar and to the industry. But what this is all about, and what Cigar Fanatics and the Zoom Cigar Bar is all about, is the people that ultimately matter. And it's all of us, it's all of you at the very end of the entire magic, where you get to cut a cigar, you light it up, and you take a first puff, and it takes you somewhere you could never imagine. And that community aspect and the camaraderie of where it's all about the people, and you know, you can brag about the shitty day at work, or how your week has been, and whether or not you outbid somebody or you make fun of somebody. It's human nature. It's real, it's honest, it's people. And that what makes me truly grateful. And I think that is what Carl's legacy has, you know, it's written all over. It's the people, the community, and the camaraderie. And that's so important to always understand that. And I think it's also a very important message to the entire industry and the people who manufacture cigars, who give their blood, sweat, and tears, that, you know, connecting with the end consumer, with the people who ultimately get to enjoy your hands' labor. That's very special. And for that, I am very grateful personally. Ian, you had a wonderful story to share, and I wanted to bring you in, so bring
Thank
it
you,
up.
and very much enjoying the conversation. And just, I mean, I think, you know, cigars work because you have to take time and you have to relax. And provided people are there and they've turned off their phones and they're there for the company and to have perhaps a drink with a cigar, that's what makes it special. You have to have set an hour or so aside and sit down with people. But talking about the Bible studies and the cigars, I think it's, you know, you can't smoke in church. I think that's a bit off. But it reminds me of the story of the two novice monks who both enjoyed cigars, and they went to talk to the abbot about smoking a cigar during their day. And they met again after they'd been to see the abbot separately, and one of them was very downcast and the other one was quite happy. And the second one said, well, what did you say to the abbot? He says, Abbot, is it all right if I smoke while I say my prayers? The abbot said, no, you mustn't do that. He said, well, what did you say to the abbot? He said, well, it said, Abbot, is it okay if I pray while I have my evening smoke? And the abbot had said yes. Anyway, that's a funny little story. Nobody's laughing, I can see. So
No, but it's actually, that is definitely something Carl would say.
Anyway, thank you. And I'll have to come on. I haven't been on your Zoom. I'll have to do that. And thank you for that. And,
it's a
nice
very
to meet you.
welcoming, very unique group. And, you know, bring a drink, bring a cigar, come sit back, relax, and have a great time.
Well, I've got a nice bourbon with me tonight. So Thank you.
Well, it's stories like these. It's what so many people are commenting over on Facebook, or the comments that I see here at the lounge. Everybody has a story to tell. Most of you have a story to tell with Carl, or you have experiences at the Zoom Cigar Bar, or just in your local lounge and with cigars in general. And it's beautiful to hear them, and it's beautiful to have a platform where we can all share that and bring them forward, to present them to other people and share, because that makes it even more meaningful. One of those stories and one of those people that I would love to bring in is our dear fellow friend and brother, Cy Sweeney, over in Ireland.
Evening, everybody. Great to see you all here. I just want to apologize to Tommy first. I was in my house coat this morning when I made that video for you, so I apologize. But I was just having a lazy morning. But all I want to say is, Carl meant an awful lot to so many, including myself. And I'll just tell a quick story. I won't ask a load of questions because I don't want people thinking, oh, so he's hugging the stage again. But when I first got to know Carl, my grandson had died. He was 12 years of age. And I used to sit in the garage because I had to support everybody because I was the oldest, and of course my daughter and all that. And I used to smoke alone. My head, I didn't know what to do. And somehow one day, Cigar Fanatics came up, and I joined the group, and I went into the Zoom, and I met wonderful people like Kendall, Tommy first, Art, who still, all of them still today, April, Andy, Aaron, Pastor, like the list goes on, and we chat, and how they put up with my jokes, I don't know. But Carl loved them, you know. He used to call it Cy Sweeney experience, Jesus. But I used to be there at 3 o'clock in the morning and all this. And even when I talked to Carl about my favorite word of Carl's was fantastic, because no matter what way he was feeling, even when he got poorly or sick, whatever you want to call it, he'd always say fantastic. But when we talk private, we talk about stuff, and he was a shoulder. He was a true brother. The way there was no hidden agenda, there was nothing to make any money, to do this, to do that. He had nothing but the interest of the people at heart, and his brothers and his sisters of the leaf. And even the cigar lounge today, I wouldn't be doing that except it wasn't for Carl. He brought so many of us together, but he brought us together like genuine people and genuine friends. Nobody wanted anything, just company. I mean, and I, like so many, during the pandemic, I didn't have to go judging, but I did work right through the pandemic. But those nights when I felt alone, I didn't feel alone when I was in the cigar Zoom. That's all I got to say. And I just want to say thank you, Kendall. Thank you, April. Thank you, Tommy. Art, everybody. But most of all, thank you, Carl Moospau.
Thank you, Cy. You're a legend. You're a good friend, man.
Yeah, we have so many members in the group that means so much to all of us. Cy has been here since the beginning. He is a very dear friend to everyone in Cigar Fanatics. So thank you for those words, and thank you.
Yes, thank you, Cy. Thank you so much, Cy.
I love you guys. You know that.
Okay, we love you too.
All right.
Oh, Cy, brother, it's always hard to speak after you, especially when you get emotional, and we all do in particular.
My apologies, Reinhard. My apologies.
No need to apologize.
Fine.
Cy, never apologize for being an incredible human being and for speaking from the heart, because you always and you very much do. Brian, chime in, brother.
Hey guys, sorry, I hope you can hear me. There's gardeners next door, as always. I come with leaf blower soundtrack everywhere I go. It's my theme music. Sorry about the leaf blower. I just want to say, Asai, I'm sorry to hear that sadness. That's great to share that. I was going to say, in terms of pandemics and life in general, it's hard in so many different ways. And I had a friend that passed away from cancer just before COVID started, and she was 50 years old. But I just want to ask all three of you the kind of psychological benefit, obviously, of cigars. We all know that, how they help you relax and de-stress, and probably are actually better for our health than anything else. But with an online platform, and I work with kids too, and I'm on Zoom, and I see that it helps them socially sometimes. Some, they're having a hard time and they can't go to school, and socially everyone kind of took a hit. And I could see them sort of being helped by this online community. And for me, with Light 'em Up, it was huge for my kind of mental health. And so I just wanted you to maybe touch on that in terms of any stories or thoughts in terms of how your lounge, like with Side Story, helped people kind of mentally get through the hard time,
Well, I can, I guess I can bring up just a quick instance that it was actually really, it was probably one of my hardest moments, to be perfectly honest with you. So just bear with me. And it was actually the day that Carl passed. Sorry. Yeah, I was there, and I was driving home, and I talked to April, and yeah, mentally I really wasn't doing all that lot. And talking to April driving home, it's what I needed. And that didn't even involve smoking a cigar at that time. That was just driving home, and I needed to talk to a friend. And that night when I broke the news, I had everybody's support. I even remember our dear friend Butch. He helped me out because we had more people coming in, and I just couldn't do it. And yeah, when it comes to having a platform for therapy, it was light at the end of the tunnel, to kind of a light to guide the way. I've even I was going through some personal stuff myself, and this was therapy. This was, if I had a bad day at the dealership and I had a sale that didn't go right, I could just come on here. And yeah, Milford, you're 100% right. That actually, real quick, the night that the info came out, we had over 60 people in here on Zoom Cigar Bar morning, and that was really meaningful. That was very heartfelt, and I can't thank all the people that that I may have not talked to a whole bunch while I was on here, but they reached out to me just to make sure I was doing okay. Because yeah, Carl, like a lot of people, he was a dear friend. And I lost a dear smoking buddy. Sorry, but I gained, being a part of the legacy, helping push forward. I have, I know I have April, I have Milford, I have Hart, I have Patrick, Cy, I have Kendall, there's probably Robert, there's Robert. I got little Cam. Love you, Cam. You're a legend, buddy. We got Cam Smith in here. He's at the helm. But I have all these people. Oh, I see Mark. Tiki Mark. Yeah, I had all these people that reached out and they were like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I was like, "Well, it hit you like a sledgehammer, to be honest with you." But yeah, when it does come to therapy, it just it helped. So that was my long spiel. Back to you guys.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, while we do have sad times, we also do have this as an escape. So during the pandemic, when the news was pandemic, when the news was riots, when the news was cities burning, when the news was, everything that was elections and everything else that's going on in the world, this was our escape. Zoom Cigar Bar was where we could step away from all the stuff that's going on, turn off the TVs, turn off the cell phones, and just be friends and have a cigar. It was just an escape. We couldn't do it at our local lounges, and we found each other, and we're very thankful for it.
Well, it's really beautiful. On a lighter note, I do want to join. I think it's a dangerous prospect to lounge 24/7. I think I'll probably end up smoking too much, and I'll have my wife be very upset with me for smoking too much and being on Zoom all the time. But we have a tradition, if you will, if you'll allow me. When my grandma passed and when our friend passed before COVID, we have a thing where we like to pour one out. So we cheers and we take a drink, and then or if you can, but pour a little. And so I didn't know Carl, but he sounds like a great guy. So here, let's pour one out for.
I got my water in
And I have coffee.
nurtured, healthy, balanced pomegranate container.
It was the thing that Tommy, that you said, and Brian, this might be for you. It was something that you mentioned. It was about, you said that you had a friend, and that is what Carl was to all of us. I called him Uncle Carl, not because of age. He was just that person. He just portrayed as an uncle, so I always called him Uncle Carl. But you said it. We had friends. We had friends that we met back when it started in February until now, 2 years later, but it feels like we've known each other for many, many years. And that's the relationship that we built with one another. So if nothing else that the virtual platforms have done, it's gained us friendships, meaningful friendships, long-lasting friendships that we can come and talk to anybody at any time. We can all, dangerous. Sometimes it is dangerous 24/7 because we have after hours, but that's a whole other story. We like to have fun, but it's still all decent and good fun. But you have your friends, whether it's good or bad, or just you want to just see your friends. You just want to have a conversation. What's everybody doing? What's going on? So it's friendship. It's one thing that I'm sorry, I've been crying since I jumped on. That Carl did for me was I gained a bunch of friends that were able to share with me and my husband our 20-year anniversary back in 2020. And we were able to have everybody join on Zoom and celebrate with us, even though we weren't able to do what we wanted to. We were still able to celebrate with our friends. So that's one of many things I'm grateful for my Zoom family, my Fanatics family, for. They were able to help us celebrate and take our mind off of what was going on in the world. So I'm forever grateful.
We live streamed April's graduation. And then even last year for one of the conferences, I'm sorry, it's escaping my mind right now. We live streamed it too. We all watched it together. We all get
Cigar
together.
Fest International.
Cigar Fest International. And we also live streamed the Super Bowl this year. And we watched the playoff games together. As you can see, I'm an LSU fan, so Joe Burrow. And we have a good time. It's really a good sense of community, and we're able to share in each other's joy. We're all very proud of April's graduation, and the way she reacted was amazing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was something I didn't think I was going to be able to finish because of the pandemic, but I'm grateful to God that I got through it, and I had my friends there to celebrate with me. Just didn't have Carl there physically. I'm sorry, but I knew he was there spiritually because he always encouraged me to keep going. It was me, my son, and my daughter all virtual learning at the same time. So we have a college student, a high school student, and a middle school student in the same house doing virtual learning all at the same time. And I had a few conversations with him. It's like, I think I should just stop school and just focus on my kids. He said, if you do that, what are they going to have to look up to? And it hit me that if I quit, they quit. So Carl was also that person that just motivated you. I'm sorry. Whether you ask for it or not, you got a motivating word. You got a push from Carl. And I know he was there with me in spirit in my living room. I was jumping up and shouting when they read my name, when I saw my name go on the screen. But I wish I could have jumped on the Zoom and saw him there after. But again, I know he's there in spirit. It's something when you lose a real good friend. It's just, it hits, but I know that he'll always be with us. Every time we take a light or every time we think about him, he's going to always be with us. I'm sorry, I've become a crybaby during COVID too. So
Yeah, don't be
that's my little spiel.
What's so beautiful about all these stories is, some people would say we can find a friend in life, and everybody has certain people around that are special and meaningful, and we all have treasured friends, but when a cigar brings all of us together, and when you sit down with a friend who shares that love and appreciation for the humble leaf, and you light them up together, that creates a whole new level of intimacy and friendship, I believe. And as we discussed before, it's always fascinating that when you enter a cigar lounge or the Zoom Cigar Bar virtually, just how connected you feel with people that you probably haven't met before. And you see them there for the first time in your life, but immediately you have something to share. And that is the love for the leaf, for the humble cigar. There is this connection, and there is something that binds us together and brings us together. And that's very special. And Carl clearly understood that, like a few other people, and he brought his own little magic and created something that is very meaningful and will live on for much, much longer. And I'm very glad that you all give so much in order to pay honor and tribute to that legacy and make sure that it continues, that the spirit is very much alive. Kendall, April, and Tommy, I would love, before we conclude our tribute show, and it's a very cheerful one. It's a happy one. It's a celebration. Just as we are all sad that Carl is no longer with us, though we're so grateful that we had the chance to meet him and connect with him. So let's celebrate, and I would love to take a little peek into the future with you all and hear about your thoughts and your perspectives as to the future of the cigar community, the cigar family, and then, of course, in particular, Cigar Fanatics and the Zoom Cigar Bar.
The Cigar Fanatics has grown so big that when Carl had made, before his passing, me and Tommy and April admins. And from there, it got so big that we formed a board with other members. So that way, there's not just one person, everybody gets a say so. We take all the different perspectives of everybody in the community, and everybody gets to give input and insight. We help each other to manage and maintain the group, maintain its quality, maintain that everybody is welcome and feels included, to make sure that females feel welcome and included. We have some amazing, beautiful sisters of the leaf. And we always will maintain that quality in our group. Cigar Fanatics is trademarked by the board. So that way we're able to protect Carl's legacy as we go forward. How it's going to evolve from here really depends on the group, and hopefully we'll be able to keep everything going. I know that we have meetups planned at different cigar events throughout the year. So hopefully we get a chance to get together and hug a neck and see somebody in person. Definitely we want to do some of the shows like Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. This past December, we had a bunch that met up at the Cigar Heritage Festival. I want to say there was at least 20 Cigar Fanatics that met up there.
I think like 25, yeah.
25, yeah. And we will continue to do little things like the blind smoke, where everybody receives a cigar without a band on it, and we meet up and we, talk about our palates, talk about our experiences, talk about our life, and continue to grow as a family as it goes forward.
Yep, I just want us to continue to share like we've been doing, not just in each other's cigars, but sharing our knowledge. And that's one of many things Carl did. He made sure that he shared what he knew about cigars and everything. So I want to see the communities to continue to share, not just locally in the United States, but across the waters. Through Carl, I see Patrick on here. I see Patricia on here. We were able to hook up with, I call Patrick my local brick and mortar, but that's a joke between he and I. We're able to connect with brick and mortars, because in California, most of you know how the laws of tobacco are here in California. They're a little special. Just to be able to connect with people and, maybe share, get their name out there, not in a big way, but, to let them know this is who's in your area. Did you know this brick and mortar's over here? Do you know this person stays over here? And like Kendall said, we've had several meetups. We've met up in Tampa, we've met up in Vegas. And it's just like, we want to keep connecting and meet people in person where it's safe. COVID's still around, but I just want to see it continue to grow. When I joined for Cigar Fanatics, I was member 500, and now we're at over 20,000. If we don't even gain another member, I'm very content and happy where we are, as long as we continue just to share and keep the friendship going and just help each other, be there for each other, and just lift up each other, because I believe that's what Carl would want us to do. He would just want us to share and just be friends. And just, as he said, just keep the party going.
Amen to that. Yeah, and to once again, that April makes another very awesome point, is we're talking about our brick and mortars. I actually, Carl, this was actually, I think it was like a year before he got sick. He created a post, and he's like, "Hey, what's your favorite local brick and mortar?" And that took off like a rocket. We had something like, what was it?
I said, except for me, I don't have any local brick and mortar.
Oh, no, but it was really cool, because it was like, oh, wow, I saw that somebody mentioned this area, and I live like an hour and a half from there. I didn't even know there was a cigar lounge there, because they don't maybe have advertising money for advertising, sorry, to boost ads somehow, to let other people that are, I like to use the term FOTL, family of belief. That's just me though. But we're like, I just recently, from my dad's retirement, from Energizer, I was able to make connections through Cigar Fanatics to get him a celebratory box of Lost City Opus X from Texas. So I then give them a review. I know what they have in stock. I then can refer people to that brick and mortar. And if Patrick, who is in Almost Havana Cigar Lounge in Hurricane, West Virginia, that's my local brick and mortar. I'm a locker member there. I know that they got that. We know that Patricia down here has her own thing in Delaware, and it's Delaware, Ohio. And it's like I started plugging all this stuff into what I created the Cigar Lounges of America on Google Maps. Then I noticed Reinhard, you kind of posted some link. You called it the Swiss Army knife of the cigar industry, which I'm definitely going to take a peek at that. And I didn't even know you'd created that, where you basically can just travel across the country and be like, all right, I'm landed in this state. I want to grab a smoke. And Google really provides you so much. So then we get our local feedback and plug it right into that area. And they're like, there's a cigar lounge like 20 minutes from me. We did it while we're waiting for my dad's retirement dinner. Didn't even know that there was a humongous cigar lounge not that far. So we drove over there to kill some time. I did a huge review on it and was like, they've got this in stock. They have all this. And I would like to see us as a collective following get together and start improving connectivity and networking for brick and mortars, where it's like they've got this event going on. They've got that. We're starting to allow some businesses. We don't want to have a mass influx of, hey, buy this cigar cutter. Hey, buy this, blah, blah, blah. It's, hey, I've got an event, like the first of the month. We then actually, Milford, that's a Cigar Fanatics Lounge Finder. It's essentially what I kind of, and right, there was about 300 brick and mortars in the comment section. And it took off like a rocket. And then I kind of realized, I was like, there's no like thing in the United States that I know of where we can all plug this data in and start traveling. And we're like, cool, I don't have to be a locker member to go in to smoke at this establishment, but let me go in and support that local brick and mortar, that local business. And then all of a sudden, you just start having people work together and you're growing.
Tommy, many thanks for sharing. And April and Kendall, I would love to take that thought and ask you, in honor of Carl's legacy, and now with our tribute show here to pay respect to everything that he has built, and would you continue to foster and to nourish? What can we all do as a global cigar family and as a community to make it stronger, to make it even more beautiful and enjoyable for all of us as a global community, as a global cigar family? Which improvements can we all try to invest our time and our efforts on in order to not only move forward and continue to pay respect to what Carl has built and what we all try to build as a global family, but what can we do to actually improve it and to make sure that we are stronger, that we are more connected, more united as a cigar family moving forward?
No, I would think that Carl would say it's not just about Cigar Fanatics. And I feel like that he would tell you guys and encourage, and I encourage, I'm sure he would encourage, we all have a friend out there that smokes cigars that lives locally by us. So, try to take a break, go meet up with a friend and have a cigar in Carl's honor today. Sometime this week, sometimes this month, if you can just break away from your normal reality, the day-to-day, the hustle and bustle. That's what we do every night at Zoom Cigar Bar. But if you don't join Zoom Cigar Bar because we're in the United States, if the times just don't match up, you can fellowship and you can spread the love of the leaf and you can spread community within your own local organizations, in your own local communities. You know, you can lend advice, lend a hand, lend a hug, to your own, in your own way, in your own friends, in your own community, and spread the love of the leaf, because it's not just about Cigar Fanatics. It's about the community. It's about the love of the leaf. It's about coming together and building for a brighter tomorrow. And the one thing he would always say at the end, when he was logging off at the end of the night, was, don't forget to empty the ashtrays and sweep the floors. So it's a beautiful ending. And every time that he would log off, he would say that, even though we were online, still empty the ashtrays and sweep the floors.
I would just say, I think Carl would want us to continue to respect one another, show respect, give respect. We all don't smoke the same brand. We all don't like the same thing. So respect what your fellow brother or sister smoking, and appreciate them. Appreciate the friendship that's being shared with you, and be grateful. Don't always look for something, and, give with your heart, not out of self-gain. Give because you want to, because that's what Carl did. I received several COVID relief packages from Carl, and several other things. Actually lit up today with the last lighter that he gave me was a Rocky Patel that actually came from Patricia, and the humidor's inside. I couldn't bring it outside, but we just want to make sure that we just continue to appreciate and love on one another, even in the physical or virtual. Just make sure that we are showing love and appreciation for our brothers and sisters of the leaf. Support those locally, your brick and mortars, and just make sure that we go back to that first point. Just make sure that we're respecting one another and sharing with one another and being there for one another, because that's everything and so much more that Carl did for us. He was a true, as I would say, in my humble opinion, he was a true aficionado. He knew stuff. He knew cigars. He knew the lifestyle. He knew community. He knew where to tell you to go shop. I'm not going to ever try to copycat or duplicate that, but he definitely gave me something to look up to and look forward to, and to learn, glean, and gain and grow from. So I think that's one thing we should all do, no matter what you smoke, no matter who makes it. Respect it, appreciate it, and share it. Physically, the cigar or your knowledge. Just make sure that you're keeping the community friendly, respectful, and I'll say whole.
Amen. What a beautiful world. What a beautiful word, whole.
Whole. Thank you.
April, Kendall, and Tommy, I would love to thank you from heart for joining us today. And I know that it's sometimes challenging to speak from the heart, to share some of these stories that you have shared today. Mm-hmm. But in particular, I would love to thank you for your efforts in continuing what Carl has built. And I want to thank everybody who is part of that community, whether it's Cigar Fanatics, Zoom Cigar Bar, or the Cigar family. Because April, you said it, whole. We are one family. Like Carlito always says, we're the community and the camaraderie and the family of people who enjoy and embrace handmade premium cigars. And if we keep that spirit burning, if we keep that flame burning in our heart and in our minds, then I am truly convinced that what Carl has had in his mind, his vision, will live on. And it's our duty to do that, to make sure that we can continue to enjoy premium cigars and we can continue to come together and embrace those special moments.
Yeah.
And today was such a moment together with all of you. And for that, I want to thank you. Truly special.
Thank you for having us.
And
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the honor to be here, and your hospitality and taking time out of your day to let us share Carl's legacy to the world. Do appreciate it.
Our other Zoom Cigar Bar folks, I see Art, I see Eric, I see Milford, a few others dropped off, Patrick and Patricia and Mark.
There's Eric.
It just shows you, Mark's in San Diego, Art's in Pennsylvania, Patrick's in Ohio, Patricia's in Delaware, Cy's in Ireland, Milford's in Pennsylvania. That's what Carl did. He was able to just start a little idea, and it was able to connect so many people from all over, United States and abroad. So yeah, thank you, Reinhard, for just allowing us to celebrate our friend.
It is my pleasure, my privilege and honor. And this is for Carl. This is for what he has built. And this is for the love of the leaf and the humble, magical and mythical product that we all embrace so much. But not because of the cigar, because of what it can do and that it brings us all together. And this is for all of you, and it's for all of us. We're together in this. And wherever
Most
Carl is,
definitely.
I know he's watching, and I know he's incredibly proud of what you all do on a daily basis, what we all can do to make sure that his dream continues. Because to build a place where all the cigar loving people, where the whole family of the leaf would be welcome, that was the dream of Carl Moospau. And he might have passed away far too early, but his legacy and his heritage and the community that he has built, the message that he shared with the cigar world and thus with the world beyond, that will live on. And I'm grateful and I'm honored that together we get to pay tribute to that for a very special cigar man that is close to all of us. And so thank you one and all for being here with us today. And please make sure that you join the Cigar Fanatics group and join the Zoom Cigar Bar, because you will have a family there. And hopefully we can also play a little role in that, bringing people together, building bridges. That's what we're all here for. And let's keep that positive spirit in our mind. And Carl would have said, empty your ashtrays and sweep the floor. So thank you all with my love and respect, and let's light them up together. Thank you one and all for being here with us.
Cheers.
To Carl.
Thank you.
To Carl.
Carl.
Thank you.